Folks, this is Abrahm with BSA Bushcraft, back at you with another video. In this video, what we're going to talk about is lighting a fire using the sun, so solar ignition. I'm going to show you one way to light up or get an ember using the sun. This is maybe a way not a lot of people think of. I know a lot of people do know it that's involved in this bushcraft or really primitive and type of stuff, but most people just know that you could either use some kind of charred material with the sun and it lights right up and then you have an ember, but that's using charred material. In this video, what I'm going to use is natural material that is inner bark, and then I'm going to ball it up real nice and tight, compress it, and that should take an ember if it's dry and fine enough. So that's what I'm going to do in this video. I'll mention a couple other methods you could do, and I may do them in future videos, but again, the char material, that's self-explanatory, because flint and steel sparks, which are very low in temperature, will take a spark, or char will take a spark from that. So obviously the sun, if you have a good magnifying glass, at least 5 power, it will take char pretty good. You could also use fungus, cracked cap, polypora chaga, horsehoof fungus. You could use all those. Take your saw, your Baco Laplander, or any saw, saw it up real fine, get a dust, pile it together, and then light it with the magnifying glass that way. We did that at the Pathfinder School this past weekend, so that's another option if you want to go that route. But again, I'm going to use some kind of fine material. In this case, it's going to be some poplar bark. You could probably use grapevine, basswood, cottonwood, aspen, anything like that will work just fine. You just have to get that fine material. So if you guys stay with me, I'll adjust the camera and show you exactly what you're going to need to get this job done. What you're going to obviously need is some sort of magnification lens. In this case, I've just got a magnifying glass from a pair of old binoculars, which works just fine. And again, you can use anything. You want to make sure it's got the power of, or a 5 power magnification for it to work. I'm sure you could get something that's lower than that, not much lower, but lower, and prove me wrong or whatever if you wanted to do that. But for the most part, make sure it's at least 5 power. Anything bigger than that is going to be a lot better because it's going to make it work a lot quicker. But this is literally all I have. It's a decent sized lens here. Got it from real thick. Got it from a pair of old binoculars. This works fantastic. I got 2 out of 1 pair of binoculars, so I mean they're really easy to come by. Get a pair of cheap binoculars and there you go. Go to Goodwill, pick up a cheap pair, and then you're good to go. I've wrapped it up in some old denim, blue jean. That's to protect it, and then if I wanted to make some sort of charred material, look what I have. I've got it right here, and I don't have to cut up my shirt or look for natural material, which really isn't that hard. But anyways, I've got this blue jean protecting that lens, and then I could use it as charred material if I choose to do that. Next, I'm going to need some sort of inner bark. I collected this when I went on a hike recently because it's not in the area as much. It's inner bark. This is poplar. I've got a whole bunch of it, and then I've got also some birch bark in here. Yellow birch, which is a very good fire resource. And really, guys, that's all you're going to need. I'm going to use the rest of this poplar that I don't use for that real nice compressed piece. I'm going to use the rest of it for my bird's nest because I'm putting an ember into it. That's the difference between a tinder bundle and a bird's nest. A tinder bundle, you're throwing sparks into it, or you're throwing sparks into that or hitting with an open flame, but with a bird's nest, you're putting an ember into it. So there's a difference. You need to make sure you process it up different too. A lot of people don't know that, but now you guys do. So let me get somewhere where the sun's at nice and shining because it's a hot day. I'm gonna right in this canopy and under this canopy here. I can't get enough sunlight most likely, so I'm probably gonna get out in the open somewhere nice, and we will see what we can get done with this magnifying glass and that poplar bark. It's a nice spot where the sun's shining really bright here through the canopy. It's a nice open spot, and also it's cleared away, so when I do get the flame, I'm not starting a full on fire, but I will be able to drop it without worrying about catching the debris on the ground. You gotta be very careful with that. So I'm gonna get a piece of this bark out of here, make sure it's nice and dry. If it isn't dry completely, you could obviously process it up and let it dry out with this hot sun today. You really don't need that much of that. Should be just fine right now. And then I'm gonna pull the rest of it out here. Not the birch. I'm gonna leave the yellow birch in there for another project. Wrap it up, close it up here. and I'm going to make my bird's nest. Now let's talk about a bird's nest a little bit. A bird's nest is going to be composed of 3 sections. Coarse material, which is obviously stuff that's a little thicker, medium, and then fine. The reason is it's going to burn a lot longer that way, and it's going to give you more longevity, and it's just going to help you a lot better if it's processed up like that, opposed to just a whole bunch of fine material or all thick stuff, because you want to catch good. So pretty much here, I will pull this apart a little bit. I'll use this as my coarse material. It's still actual chunks of bark a little bit that I haven't processed up. That will be on the back of it. So we'll put that aside. The rest of it I'm going to process up pretty darn good to medium coarseness, or medium size here. And this stuff is pretty dang dry because I collected it a while ago, probably about a week. And it's been drying out, but it still has a little bit of dampness to it. Just a tad, not too much. I'm going to process this bad boy up. Make sure you do this right because you don't want to do it again, and if you burn all this stuff up and don't do it properly, you're in a hurt locker. Just process the stuff up. I could be having something under me to collect the fine dust up, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use that for my coarse there, that little chunk. And you want this to be approximately the size of a softball once you're done. And that should be pretty good to get your fire going, and it's all going to depend on how wet your material is. If it's wetter, you're going to need a little bit more to catch your damp sticks. But if it's real dry out and you got a lot of experience level is going to dictate a lot too. You may not use as much. Okay, so once we get that, that will be my medium material, and I'm going to pull a little bit out of here to make my super fine, or my fine. So what we have is, we got the 3 sections here, or the 2 so far. The coarse goes on the back, the medium is in the middle, and then I'm going to process this up to have my super fine. And that's going to be 3 layers, and the super fine will catch easy, and then it will spread throughout the bird's nest. You don't want no chunks at this point in this fine section. And this is just hiring my chances of success, making my success rate a lot higher. Just get this nice and processed up. Expose a lot of surface. We're in a nice area for the sun, direct contact here. So I'm going to actually leave it on this denim here so you guys can hopefully visibly see it better. Then what you're going to want to do is, once I bring this over top of there, you're going to see a light. You want to focus it to the smallest point that you can get it. And there's already smoke in there, but you want to hold this nice and steady. Now once it's smoking, you want to hold it at that exact spot. Just let it continue to smoke, because that means you have it at its focal point, and that's what you want. Gonna pull it away. See what it's doing. It did not catch that time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust to the other side. I'll bring the camera onto the other side because I can hold this a lot more steady that way, and we will see what we can do. I'll actually adjust the camera, zoom it in a little bit so you guys can see what's going on. Once you think you got it, let off with magnifying glass. And kind of coax it if it needs it. And that right there, hopefully you guys can see it in the view here. It's still smoking, and that's what you want to see. I'm gonna coax it a little bit. I'll let that sit there and let it grow a little bit. Once it's at a point or at a stage, I believe it's gonna work, or I believe it's sustained itself enough to put in this nest, then we will do that and we will proceed to blow it to flame. It's still got a steady stream of smoke here, which is what we want to see. Let me adjust the camera angle, guys, and we will blow this sucker to flame. What we have. That's what you guys want to see. Oh, I want the flame on it. Huh. Well, just that little bit there blew it to flame. So, what we're going to do is we're going to gently, obviously, put it into this nest here. And since it's that poplar bark, it will go to flame itself. Put it directly where that bird would lay the egg, per se. Then you would fold it in, almost like a taco, just like anything else with blowing an ember to flame. Wind direction, keep that in mind, and gently right there, that blew it to flame right there. It's that easy. turn it over on itself. And good to go. When I actually brought it up to you guys and blew it a little bit, it blew it to flame, but we got the ember with a magnifying glass there, and that's what matters. And if you have a proper nest like that, a proper bird's nest, it should be that simple to get it to flame. Then you would throw your smalls on, and you've got a sustainable fire. This has been Abram with BSA Bushcraft. I hope you enjoyed this quick video on getting a solar ember and then proceeding and putting it in your bird's nest to blow it to flame. I hope you guys got a lot out of this video, learned a little bit. I encourage you guys to go out and try it for yourselves, because there's no use of just watching the video and just assuming you can do it. Get your guys' rear end out there and try it for yourself, or it's going to do you no good. So again, hope you guys got a lot out of this video. I appreciate all the support you guys give me at BSA Bushcraft. Check out selfrelianceoutfitters.com for their gear and classes. A lot of great stuff over there. If you sign up for one of their classes, you may see me there. And again, thanks for your guys' support. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Comment, share it with your friends. Subscribe to this channel if you like what you see. And if you have any questions, comment below or email me at bsabushcraft@gmail.com. This has been Abram with BSA Bushcraft. Thanks for watching this video, guys, and I will catch you on the next one. Take care.